Welcome to Fast Track to Your Psychic Abilities, Continued Learning, no matter where you are in the course. This is the time with one-on-one for you. And today we have several requests, but before we start diving into these requests, I would like to do a little clearing, what I would recommend for people to do in general. So a little reminder, frankincense is good to have. And I'm clearing my day away right now by just cleansing a little bit with frankincense so that the energy is cleared. You don't have to do that before we class. I just wanted to have it as a reminder that this little thing, frankincense, can clear out a lot in your everyday life. Just a little tiny one. The second one, I want to address a question to you, which you might consider a little bit of a homework, but also a little bit of a reflectivity to set the tone for our session today. Theme is, that's what the guiding ones told me, what is the most limiting belief keeping me from what I want right now? What story are you telling yourself? When you think about your dreams, what is the first limiting thought that comes to your mind? If you're not living the life you desire, it's because a part of you doesn't believe it's possible. So here it is. The soul says it's time to upgrade. Look your belief in the eye. Where did it come from? What new belief are you ready to adopt in its place? How will this change your results? Remember, your belief is the root of your result. Own it, heal it, and upgrade. And because you're here, you definitely want to upgrade your spiritual pathways. So let's talk with clearing. I think the clearing theme fits quite nicely. So the three keywords today are clearing a person, clearing the self, and clearing some energy with somebody else, and then also questions about channeling. But before we're really diving in energetically, I would like to do the usual bringing ourselves to a higher vibration rate. And for that, I would ask you please to close your eyes and envision a golden sun over your head. You should be very familiar with this right now. The golden sun represents your soul frequency. As one ray from the golden sun floats into the top of your head, every single cell of your brain, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, throat, neck. Golden light floats into the shoulders, arms, hands, and out of the fingertips, along the spine and muscle structure in the back, into the heart and chest opening both wide, into the solar plexus to make it more radiant, into the whole digestive system, into the hips, legs, knees, calves, feet, and through the feet into the ground like roots. Let the golden light flow from the feet through the core of Mother Earth into the core center and its crystalline structure. And then also let it overflow from your heart into your aura, your electromagnetic field, smoothing over all energy riffles and holes to make the aura nicely consistent, expansive, elastic, and rejuvenated. And then condense the gold away from the center to the outer rim of your aura, that you have a golden ring of fire around you, which keeps you safe and to be too much bombarded from any outside energies. The second vibration rate we are asking to come in is the white silver sparkling light. This proves to be quite important these days, also for cleansing and clearing, rejuvenating and regenerating away from stagnant energies and bringing things into a crystal clean new perspective. So we're using white silver sparkling light coming from the universal oneness, flowing again into the top of our head, every single cell of our brain, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, throat, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, and out of the fingertips. Feel how it sparkles and energizes your body as it flows further into the backbone, spine, muscle structure of the back, heart and chest opening both wide, and maybe see it like a white silver sparkling fountain vibrating through and through as it flows further into the solar plexus, cleansing and clearing all your connections which go in and out of your solar plexus through this white silver sparkling cleansing and clearing light. Further down into your whole digestive system, private parts, hips, legs, knees, calves, feet, and through the feet into the ground like roots. All the non-supportive energy can be transmuted and transformed, but also let flow into Mother Earth, all the way down through the feet, further down to the core center crystals of Mother Earth and its crystalline structure. And then let it overflow from your heart into your aura further, into the golden ring of fire, into the golden light bubble around you, cleansing and clearing your aura. And you might feel refreshed, and you might even want to sit straighter or feel wider. And then I would ask you right now, with this white silver sparkling light, to push out your aura a little bit. Just a little bit, to be comfortable in saying, yes, I claim my space. The third frequency for today is what makes us best in alignment with our highest path. So I'm asking, what color frequency of healing helps us to align us to our best and highest path? Whatever that frequency is for you today, please let that bring in from the universal oneness, flowing into the top of your head, every single cell of your brain, eyes, nose, ears, throat, mouth, throat, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, fingertips, along the spine and muscle structure in the back, into the heart and chest, solar plexus, digestive systems, lower parts, hips, legs, knees, calves, feet, and also that we bring down all the way into Mother Earth to nourish her as well. And then from the heart, this alignment energy of today can mix nicely in our auric system from the heart as we let it flow into our aura. Now we can come totally refreshed into the presence, ready to learn. And before we start on the self-clearing and clearing a person, I would ask very quickly today, and I start again with Christine. Christine, what particular alignment healing frequency did you have today?
I had purple.
Purple? Excellent. What associations do you have with purple?
I don't know, because normally it always turns up to be green and orange. So
okay, then recommendation of the day, try to find some your own, because I will tell something about purple later, but try to find your own associations, what purple might mean for you. Okay, some remarks: purple is deeply transformatory and obviously really makes you ready to align for change, because purple is a big transformator and transmutator. Okay, next one. We have James in the circle.
A green, a little yellow.
Okay, and what do you associate with green and yellow?
Well, green, recently the whole heart area has been a big focus for me, and trying to work from the heart, get out of the mind, and communicate and think, and the whole love and heart. So that made a lot of sense. And the yellow, I think, is just from the solar plexus as well, and they've been working together.
Does anybody else have some associations for green and yellow? Remember, in module 1, we have a little booklet, and that should also be a booklet about color frequencies and their meaning. So anyone else or something to add on what green means for them and yellow means for them?
Green with me is always bringing in calm and confidence. It's like a peace within. That's one of my major ones I bring in.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then I might say that green associating with nature, bringing you back to your own nature, bringing you back to your own core center. Green also is there for growth, bringing in a new way, a new space, and a new path.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the frequency of green, the darker green can be concentrational to manifest. The lighter greens with a lot of white or yellow in it could be like more spiritual, higher frequency donations of new talents even might come in. And the green of the heart space, growing the heart space for sure. Yellow is wisdom and yellow is joy. And that goes hand in hand. No spiritual person should ever be just grim, but also lighthearted and uplifted, sunshiny demeanor from the deepest core. And so this combination makes a lot of sense when you want to come more from the heart. So wisdom and joy together with the new growth in the heart space. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Rachel? What was your alignment frequency of the day?
Mine was blue. I guess for me, it's usually more of like a healing, or it comes up for me when I do the 3 barriers. So a lot of the times when I put up my space, blue is one of those colors.
Okay. Blue, definitely deeply healing. Blue, the counter frequency of inflammation. When we have red, blue is like the water to the fire. Blue, helping communication skills. Blue, teaching. Definitely alignment for teachers. These are some of the associations. Some people who come from another blue planetary system came here into this world to be specific healers and teachers. Just as a side note, as every soul comes with a particular ray of energy. A dancer's energy ray might be completely different from a teacher's energy ray, which might be more blue. Just saying. Yeah, let's keep it at that. Okay, for you, Kira, what would you say? Could you follow this? Because I know you purchased this just yesterday, so I'm sure you haven't gone through the whole deal yet. But could you follow this, even though it was a little bit fast?
Yes, I could. And for me, it was red. It was very red. It was very vibrant. I think that means I had a session with Shavasti this morning, and so I'm trying to clear and clean the tribal energy, right? The family of origin, in a way that will allow me to fully inhabit the other colors. So I felt like it was also a sense of power. And like the fire of burning off what I didn't need. That was how it felt to me.
Good. So very good. Red can mean power. In the energy, when we look at module 2 and we look at color frequencies, and when you learn to see people's aura more fluidly, you will realize that if it's a more darker brownish red, there are inner conflicts in a person in regards to power. But if it's a lively, vibrant blood red, for example, it's a lot about love, making love grow, making power grow, a good re-energizer. So red is not always about anger, as some books or some people might try to portray it. It is also a re-energizer in the energy field. Perfect. Good. Well,
and it
thank
had
you
a
for
bit of
sharing.
yellow to it too, so I think there's some joy in that.
Right,
You know,
bringing in the joy,
Mm.
absolutely in combination with the red. Now, I tell you a little secret. I shouldn't, but I do. Have you ever heard about aura soma?
Mm.
Okay. When you look, for example, aura soma, red and yellow, you will find more energy descriptions. Aura soma bottles, as you can see them here, have various color frequency combinations. It was channeled through Vicky Walsh and her father. These are so-called aura soma healing bottles. But what I found, and my guiding ones confirmed that these descriptions are actually very valid. They don't have all the colors of the spectrum, but they have a lot. And these combinations are very valid. So you can look that up too. But I didn't want to really tell you that so much in class, because then everyone runs and looks at the book, not feeling what does it mean for me. And we need to own our knowledge. So that's why I'm saying, just in the last resort, don't look what others say, look what you say. Now, self-cleansing, self-cleaning. I will guide you through the protocol. You have it also as a DVD, CD, or a recording. Is that what you're referring to, Christine? This like Huna method, rapid eye movement, and then clearing further and so on?
It said the rune. Was it the rune? That what I
Oh, the rune clearing?
think that's what it said. I can't
Oh,
remember.
well, that's why I said earlier, there's various ways. So when you talk about the rune clearing, I don't have a gold right now. Do I? No, actually I have a gold. So that's different. When we have various clearings in keys. So follow the first page if you get lost with all the clearing stuff.
Okay.
Because the rune clearing is more a house clearing, okay, where you have.
Yeah, and I listened to both of those different recordings that you had. So the one was clearing yourself. So
Yes.
I might probably misstated it because I don't have it like right in front of me.
But that's not what you meant earlier. You had a question too about how to clear yourself.
I just haven't gone through it all. I've listened to it, but I haven't done it for myself.
Okay, now I know what you mean, the clearing of self with the rune, because this is the clearing of a house. I don't know whether you can see it. It's an attachment in its
right
gluteal, agates, uruts, and hagalats, and you put those in spaces you want to have cleared within your house. But what you're talking about is actually, I have to get some new paper. Forgive me, I didn't have as much paper as I should. So what you're talking about is Thurisatz, right? Tur. And that is, and I do it in blue right now that you can better see it, but never do runes in black. Remember that. And I will put a little gold with it because actually it's gold which is supposed to be used. So you're talking about Thurisatz rune, right? This one?
I don't remember the
Okay.
I just remember
All right.
and I knew
So
that
this is the Thurisatz rune. And
okay.
this Thurisatz rune you can cleanse and clear yourself quite tremendously. It is intense. It is a rune like Thor's hammer. It smashes things which do not belong in a good way. And it can also be used when you have a tremendous conflict with somebody. And I know somebody here in the group who could use this too. But before you use it on somebody else, you always have to use it within yourself first. That is mandatory for this teaching, so that you're clean-hearted when you send it out. And mostly, this rune goes automatically to an adversary to clean them off, not to kill them or anything. That's not what we have to deal with here, but to clean energies off between the two of you. So, can you see this? It looks like a stem of a rose with a thorn. And you can see here the little sparkles. That doesn't belong to the rune, but that's what happens. So what we are doing is we're envisioning the spine of the rune in our spine. And then we're singing Thurisatz. And it will then start twisting in ourselves. So the thorn would come out here, and then it spins, you know, like this, and it starts spinning. And as it spins, it starts sparking like a fire you're doing, you know, and it starts sparking. And that will burn off non-supportive energies in us, or any kind of attachment. That's good if you feel, I was in a group of people and I feel icky. I feel like I have an attachment. That would be a good one to use it for, okay? So I think that's clear now what you wanted to ask with the clearing oneself with a rune, and the rune is Thurisatz. In the English version, sometimes they say Thurisatz, so that's not correct. It has to be like a hammer, Thurisatz. And I hope you do not mind if we sing it and envision it all together, if you do not mind. I'm sure we can all use some clearing, and maybe you have a little bit of a adversary or nagging person, and if not, it might just stay within yourself if it doesn't want to go out. Yeah, but pay attention if it gets out of your body. Again, pay attention in which direction it goes, and maybe whether it tilts or so. All right, ready for it? We are envisioning now the golden rod in our spine of the rune of Thurisatz, and the thorn sticking out along our belly button. And maybe the rune doesn't want to spin, and that's fine too. But with respect, we're calling in Thurisatz, Thurisatz, Thurisatz. And if you're ashamed to call it in loudly and you have muted yourself, that's good. That's fine, but intone it like this anyway, because the effect comes from the intoning. And you might also feel quite hot. Thurisatz, 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 Thurisatz. Okay. I didn't want to make it too long because it can get a little bit intense. So now starting again with you, Christine, how does that feel for you when you did that Thurisatz?
I got really hot
Mm-hmm.
and I could feel a spinning, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel a spark. I just sat up straighter.
Okay. Did you feel that it wanted to go out of you somewhere?
No, just that spinning.
Okay, that's good. So it cleared something in you. Mostly people feel heat, and that heat has to deal with the energy frequency being heightened. I didn't want to go and do it too long because it can be really like a fire, and then it might go. In my particular case, I felt it going out of my body and going around me in circles, like clearing my space around me. Yeah, where I was too hectic during the day because I had too much to do. So it cleared this asinine mental space around me. And when I was singing it, I felt this open up and belonging to something bigger and very welcoming, very fatherly almost, even though it's a intense energy. Okay, next one as usual, James. How was it for you?
Same as with Christine, the heat just came on. It was incredible. And two, I don't like heat too much, and it was a bit much, but and then the spinning, I definitely felt it was going this way. What's
Mm-hmm.
that? Clockwise, I guess.
Yes.
But
Did
and
you? Okay, sorry.
oh, I was just trying to focus on listening to your chanting and copying. So I think maybe I didn't focus on what was happening as much.
But you guys get the wording Thurisatz, right? So I would like you to test it a little bit to say, really sing loud when you don't have too many neighbors, Thurisatz or Thurisatz. You know, with soft voice that nobody can hear. There's a difference. It works both ways, but there's a difference in the frequency. If you say Thurisatz, it will still work, but the heat doesn't come on that fast. Okay. And when it didn't go out of you, right, James? It didn't want to leave. Okay. All right. Good. Sounds good. Thank you for sharing. All right, Rachel.
Same as everybody else. Really hot. The spinning started slow, but then built as we kept going, and stayed.
Okay, awesome. And how about you, Kira?
I felt the heat for sure, but I felt more like a scraping through my solar plexus. Like that thorn was just, it wasn't going around. It was kind of like it was amping up, you know, like an engine that hasn't been turned on for a while. It was like trying, and I feel very like scraping is a good word on the inside. Like it was trying to get moving, and there were things in the way, but it was doing its job, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think for you it would be, I know you're just starting from scratch, but I think it would be a good and freeing energy exercise for you. If you don't have somebody in your house to really do it loudly, yeah, and Thurisatz, and just get it going until the solar plexus is unblocked. Thank you for sharing this, because this can be used for clearing chakras. You could even ask a little mini Thurisatz into all the chakras, but it is a little bit more intense form. So normally I use it on the whole person and not on all the chakras, but that could be used for cleansing energy connection. So let's say if somebody tried to block your third eye, some bad meaning person then put a seal on your third eye, you could try to get that off. Same if somebody shuts you down all the time, maybe through your whole childhood, you were not allowed to speak, then you could do the same. And the heart, and so on and so forth. So that's here with the interconnected energies where somebody probably hooked in. Thurisatz wants to get that hook and remove, let's get this off there. Awesome. Good. Now, does that answer your question, Christine, in regard of the clearing?
I think that's one of the ways. One of the other things I listened to on your tape was you walked through maybe that's with the next one with clearing someone. You walked through multiple things that you felt and you were releasing them. And I just remember the listening
Well,
to
maybe next time we can talk a little bit more about clearing. Module 6 is the biggest module. There is so much you can do.
Yeah.
And one thing which always helps briefly when you have to clear a space, because let's say you had many people in your house through Christmas, and maybe there was a little fight here and there, and turmoil, and you think, oh my God, my house needs clearing. What you could do is you can use frankincense, also in a little, frankincense with myrrh or such on a little burner, up your choice, and then just say love and light shining bright in my body and on the side, and walk around the house with it. There's also something which comes in healing module 4 where we do like swimming. You could do it like this. You put the frankincense on your palm and you're doing this while you're walking the perimeter of the house, love and light shining bright in my body and on the side, and you walk and walk, and that will settle everything down in the light. And in the meantime, when you ask for love and light, it will come to you too. So you will be the canal, the channel for this energy clearing. But I think you might revisit a little bit of the module 6 more to ask particular questions. And again, it's a big module, so I'm happy to discuss any single step of it. So now in regard of cleansing a scenario with somebody else, was that for a particular person in a particular scenario, right?
Yes.
Okay. And let's do this. Does anybody else have a little mini tiff with somebody, or maybe a co-worker, or maybe somebody or something they don't understand about a person but want to know about a person, so that they use the soul to soul talk? Yeah. Okay, then let's do this exercise. It doesn't take long. We did already part 1, bringing in the golden light. So we always bring in the soul frequency to prepare ourselves for these kind of workings. I would like you now to close your eyes and bring in forward a person you would like to communicate with and clear the air or the energy between the two of you. As I mentioned, oftentimes these energies can also, these communications can also be used for job interviews to see what the people want to hear. So the first question could be, depending on what's going on, calling them in, seeing them in front of you, and ask, what is your problem with me? And always the first thing which comes to mind is the correct one. Do not censor yourself. Do not say, oh, this is what I think, this is my story. Just say what's coming up. And then ask whether they have something to express to you which they do not allow themselves to express to you in the 3D world. And then you can also express what you would like to express to them and see their reaction. And then we ask, what color frequency would we need to feel and be our best in regard to the problem and this person? And then we ask the person, what color frequency do you need to be more amenable to me, to be more loving, kind to me? And there will be an answer. You might not hear it acoustically, but you will know the answer. Yeah, clear cognizance will come in. It will just fall into your energy funnel. It will just come to you. So now we have at least 2 different healing frequency, one for you and one for the person. There might also come in more that your adversary or your counterpart there in the inner reality needs more than one, or you need more than one. There's no wrong here. So how many there are, bring them in. It has to go through you. You bring them in as you are the gatekeeper to the situation here. So I would ask you now to bringing in these frequencies of healing for you and the other party. Bring it in from the universal oneness into the top of your head, both frequencies, both healing frequencies for you and for the other. And bringing them into the top of your head, your brain, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, throat, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, and out of the fingertips. And here it is that you can bring them all the way down through your whole body through the feet and anchor it into Mother Earth so that you can draw more energy in. If it's not a big problem and you just want to do a mini clearing, you can bring it through your heart directly to the person. But if you feel it's needed, you need to be steadfast and strong and the energy should flow stronger, then bring it through your whole body so that you're standing in a floodgate of color frequency of healing, in a stream of light. Bring it through the feet into Mother Earth and anchor it there, that the stream of light can be continued. And then let it overflow from your heart and send it towards this person. If the person is blocking it off, then allow yourself to bring it around them like a cocoon, that like in a little drip system, it can permeate them gently. Try it out and see whether the person is willing to absorb the healing frequencies or not. You might try first the other person's and maybe then also in combination with yours. Because in the key lock principle, most parties need both frequencies, not just the one. So try it out, whether your counterpart there will accept both and sense how well it flows into the other party's energy body. Okay. Once that is done, you can add on to send through the person's back heart chakra the energy further into the family lineage of this person and into anyone and everyone who made him or her the way she became to you. Because sometimes it's not your fault, you're just a bouncing board. So allow the energy to go further beyond this person after this person has absorbed enough. And see whether the healing frequency is happily and readily moving forward also into the history of that person, the history who made him or her the way they are to you today. And what you can do if this takes too long and it seems like the energy wants to flow and flow and flow and flow because there is so much healing needing to be done, you can tie the healing frequency up in the person's heart by doing a double loop, not really a knot, just a double loop, like a little, creating a little suction there. And then tie it off from you by bringing the frequency of healing in directly from the universal wonders to that person. So it can heal them continuously. You are doing good for the karmic relevance of this person, but you don't have to hold space continuously for that person's healing. And then after the healing frequency has been flowing for a while, you can ask this other party, how do you feel about me now? And you can also ask if there is anything else we need to clear so that we can be better in this reality. And so you might add on other things according to your inner dialogue. But for right now, I would like you to come back into your body, tie it up if you need be, and tell me how that was for you. Who wants to start? I think Christine is still wrapping up, so I'm asking James, how was that for you? I think you're already done, right?
It was very intense.
Okay.
A lot between the person I was trying to work out were very thick, very heavy. That's a lot. That's where my black's been coming from. Not a lot of, he's very dense and cut off. When I moved past that person to the ancestors, then there was a big opening and acceptance. And I've been doing a lot of healing through the ancestors, and that seemed to be validated. And boy, that was getting past the initial person to the ancestors was a big relief. I was getting even sick to my stomach initially, but back to the ancestors, everything flowed a lot better, and I felt better. So it was
okay. So what I would recommend then to bring that particular frequency, but not black, please. If it was something else from the universal oneness, and tie it into the heart, do a double loop in the person's heart, bring it through their body and say, take from this gift of the universe as long as you need. Yeah, so you don't have to push into it. You can just gently offer it. Yeah, and then he can slow, like drop a hollow stone, right? It will create a little opening, and more and a little bit more can flow along the lines. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now I have you to the left here. Christine, how about you?
Good dialogue, surprising dialogue. And there was a pink, my colors were pink and hers were green, and they kind of twirled together. And I was already spiraling it around her before you said it. So that was really cool. And I tied it all off with a bow. So
Good.
Yeah. So it was good.
Perfect. Okay, Rachel, I know you had to go somewhere for a while. Did you do it too?
Yeah, I was here. I just had to change locations. I did. It was interesting because I was experiencing what you mentioned before you said it, which was sort of this like the color came but then like broke around this person. So then I did what you said, which was started just with their color, and that seemed to work a bit better. And then the secondary color, which was mine.
Perfect. And did you perceive a shift with that person after, like a resolution?
Yeah, I picked something pretty easy because I've been doing a lot of heavy work the last few months. So just
I know.
someone I don't know super well, but triggers the crap out of me. So
I hear you. Well, you
it
know,
was good.
sometimes triggers are good to, that's the best way to know what's going on and to release, 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 release. Awesome. Okay, and then Kira, I know you, again, you haven't gone through this thing yet, but
Yeah,
that
I got
exercise
something.
is mentioned in the document, so in case you want to read up more about it. So how was it for you? Did it work?
Yeah, it was interesting. Of course, you know, I always pick the biggest challenge. And I was offering yellow and he was putting off blue and green, which makes perfect sense. Because he's been blocking what he's wanted to say to me for years. And as it continued, I saw, and like James said, kind of, I saw into the deeper place of where he came from. And it, you know, it's what it's like that ancestral thing in a way, even though it's not that far back, but it's like the weight of being who you are in the family. And anyway, it was good. Like I looped it off and it's there. And I feel like that's a really great place for me to continue to go to help resolve or to help continue to grow this new kind of relationship that we have, you know, like it was interesting. It was very good.
Well, remember, this particular one you did from soul level, not from ego, not like, I hear you, you are bad, you know, not
Yeah.
at all. It's just an offering of balance.
Yeah.
And some people have a harder time. Look, in the greater scheme of things, we are all one. And we all belong to each other. And we are all just a tiny little blob out of a big, you know, it reminds me of the COVID thing with the little knobs. We are all part of one, and each one is a little knob, and some knobs don't get along with each other because they're too dense or too this or too that, but we are part of one big thing. And so to say, oh, this is bad, and this is good, and this is this, and this, it just, after a certain level of insight, it doesn't make sense anymore. So remember, that's why I love module 1, as simple as it is, because you learn what frequencies mean, what frequencies feel. So I want to address you one more time when you go through your color catalog. Oh, maybe go the prime colors. How does yellow feel to me? Green feel to me? Blue feel to me? Red feel to me? white and black are not colors, and black is only to block off. We see that also in the clearing modules and so on. We are not really working with black except as a buffer for some really nasties. But then try these primary colors with white sparkles in them, gold sparkles in them, silver sparkles in them, sparkling, or even red with blue sparkles in it. I mean, just get creative. Every single thing has a particular frequency, and every single thing can counteract something else. And every single thing, every single frequency of these colors mixed in with different sparkles actually has a healing tone to it. And sometimes when I'm listening to these singing bowl specialists, I see colors matching up to the tone. Oh, that's a different story. You can manifest with color and sound anything in the universe, really, if you master it. That's what I'm saying. Get your own dialogue, inner dialogue about color frequencies going. It can be really, really helpful. Whether it's with colleagues or really big adversaries or clearing things for you in a heartbeat, what do I need right now? Bringing it in and feeling better. When you cannot sleep, bringing it in, feeling better. If you're too much over here, bringing something in, counteracting, feel better. So that's why module 1 is the cornerstone of everything. Okay, so we had Christine's questions about clearing the self and clearing a person with different ways. Is that enough for today?
Yes, because I need to go in now and practice.
Yeah, and maybe check on the first page in module 1, we have all the different keys. So it denotes different learnings about clearing. So
Right.
I know this can be a little bit confusing when we have so many things in one module. That's why I did subfolders for a particular key. The one with the runes in a subfolder for a particular key in regard of the clearing with the Huna and the emotional release work. All right. Now we come to James' question about, any question about this particular working with clearing a person or clearing the air between people? Any question about that? Cool. Then James had a question about channeling. Now, we channel all the time. We just don't know it. Any book writer channels, any artist channels. Most people channel also when they, for example, do dancing and they do the free flow and they're in this moment where they are lost in time and space. They are in the stream of energy flow. By the way, I had a vision the other night, and it was the universe, and there were a lot of things in the universe and cosmos, and tiny little light sparkles were flowing like in a data from one thing to another thing, streams everywhere, like light streams flowing every which way, like data in a computer. And ultimately, our souls are like data in a supercomputer. And, depending on where we're going with our energy, we can flow totally free, just as a side note. So in that sense, a lot of people, when they want to channel, they're thinking, oh my God, I'm channeling this particular entity. Yeah. And look, there are many ways of channeling. Channeling an entity is one particular way. And when we're tapping into that field, I'm saying field underline of that entity, because it's not a person, it's an energy frequency, which shows itself to us here or there in an incarnation, but it could be something even bigger. I'll give the example of Isis, which I like to sometimes channel, not too often. And because she revealed herself to me naturally in saying, my energy is that of the compassionate mother. I always show up in centuries in many different ways, and I always will. I've been showing up as Kuan Yin, Isis, Fatima, Mary, and many more. And as all compassionate energy, as all compassionate universal mother. And so when we are channeling, we can tap into that. We can ask and do an invocation and set a target, like I want to go there. And we can ask this beingness to come forward and fill us and speak through us. And then trust. Getting out of the way is the biggest thing. Trusting that nothing negative comes in, but the likelihood that something negative comes in is slim, next to none, when we put a target. Isis is Isis, as long as you say God is Isis and not some kind of crazy ISIS leader or something. And that brings me to a point: we have to be specific when we want to channel. I always use this particular scenario with a client and then later a student of mine who was I can channel. I did one of these classes and I can channel. And I said, show me. And she was so eager. But the long and short of the stories was that she picked up a spirit, more ghostly spirit and quality, from Jesus, who died recently in Mexico, instead of being Jesus. And she thought it was Jesus. Jesus, sound kind of, but quality totally different. And that's the quality control. I can only highly recommend to start channeling when you're in part control, meaning you know who's coming in. You don't have to be a full body trance channel right away. Step by step, you need to learn trust. But one of the things would be channeling a word for the day. Universe, give me a word for the day which applies to my day. That would be already channeling. Another word, kind of channeling is, universe, bring me, please, so kindly, a parking space always there, that when I come to the grocery store, that's mine. That's my specialty. I always have that parking space. Always the third one next to it. Just happens. The universe, I put the request in, it brings it, it directs me that I go shopping at that time and that parking space is open. That's channeling too. It's practical, but it works. And it doesn't have to be an angel. It doesn't have to be just the universe is fine. If you believe it, you put the request in, you put the target in, and it will be coming a response. Even that is channeling. Third, you can channel your higher self. Yeah. And for that, it's good to ask, higher self, my soul component, which is always an eternal, what do I need to know next? And for those channelings, I would recommend to take a piece of paper, and after you're asking, write it down, and then at the end, say thank you. Thank you for the information provided. It's always thank you for the parking space. Thank you for my keyword today of guidance. Gratitude brings in more goodness when you're grateful for the good you receive. Gratefulness is a big motivator, frequency-wise, in the universe. So higher self-channeling. That should be not so risky. So you should have no fears about that, because that's that golden light connection, which we're always working with module number 1, the golden sun. Yeah. When we connecting with a white silver sparkling light, like we often do in the healing sessions, it's a different quality. It's this cleansing and clearing quality. Even that we can channel. If you have a particular question, how can I heal this person better? How can I heal my cough better? How can I heal this better or that better, cleanse better? Then we can ask the field of that cleansing, cosmic cleansing, to come down and bring and provide us information. Yeah, so that would be, again, asking the field, asking the cosmic field of frequency. And then the entity, like Isis, be specific. The next would be a more free-flowing channel of asking a very well-meaning energy of highest frequency obtainable. That's the wording I put in our catalog, in our course catalog. Yeah, an energy of the, a being or frequency or entity of the highest well-meaning spiritual relevance for me right now. And then you get totally out of the way. You can use a Word document, put in the dictate button, speak your request out loud, and start just speaking whatever comes, even if it's mumbling, humming, singing, because the entity needs to calibrate your vocal cords. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you get out of the way, and you can only get out of the way if you trust. Yeah. But sometimes there's channeling when you feel a tickling here and you feel a little pressure. So something wants to connect with you. Somebody wants to be heard. Something wants to get your attention. Oftentimes felt when people write with a spirit guide, or they're writing with certain beings who help them to write, then they might feel this pressure point. And then they know, oh, now it's time, a good time to channel and write. Yeah, closing the eyes, do what you need to do, getting your book, getting your papers, getting your journal, or putting on the Word document, click and either write or channel. Another form of channeling I didn't use so much in the booklet because some people clamp up then when I say, oh, use it with art. Art, I'm not artistic. I cannot do art. Why should I do art? I'm not artful. So I stopped putting that in there. But what I personally found fun is seeing what nature spirits are around you. So what you do is you just doodle, take a clean piece of paper and look at it as if you would stare, like, I don't want to stare at you too much, but when you're staring at a piece of paper like that, you will see things start emerging. And mostly it's nature spirits or elemental spirits close by. And then just take your pencil or pen and follow what you're seeing. Right now, for example, when I'm looking at that picture, I could see an eagle and a jaguar. There's a lot of energies of animals right now present in this empty piece of paper. And anyway, just draw. Just draw the lines according to what you see in this white piece of paper. And when you're done with that, then you can ask, how is that relevant for me? How's the eagle and the tiger relevant for me right now? I don't know. I just saw them, so I might ask that later. But you can ask these questions. I did a art series at one time with this sort of drawings when things emerged, and the answer was, we wanted to bring you more joy. We want to bring you more nature into your day-to-day room because you're sitting always isolated in your workroom. So we wanted to bring you greetings from the nature world. And stuff like that can come up. Who knows what comes up with you or for you? So that's what I'm saying. You don't need to be an artist to doodle after you look at a piece of paper and let things come up. It could even be grumpy faces from some nature elemental spirits. That doesn't mean they're mean or they're bad, or, most houses have a house gnome. And I think in one of the modules, I have a little short meditation about a house gnome, how to connect with your house gnome. But yeah, there's a lot of ways how to channel beings. And the biggest one, the most one where you need to trust is to totally get out of your body. I have to say, I have not been permitted to do that because I came here with full consciousness. Thank you, Rachel, for coming. Was nice seeing you again. So, and as I came with full consciousness, I can really do from the 3D to a higher dimension frequency. So I really don't have to get out of the body. Sometimes I do more than other times, but I don't never completely leave and leave my consciousness being transported somewhere else so that some other entity can utilize my body completely. But there are channels like that. The most famous one is sometimes Monroe, who was lifted out of the body, but also Jane Roberts, who channeled the cess material. And there are some others who do this sort of work. One of the ones who are famous is Bouchard, I think his name is Bouchard, something like that, who is actually channeling another part of his existence, another part of his soul self, which is more evolved than himself. That means he channels some kind of sort of part of his higher self. And he talks about that alignment. And for that purpose, he can trust his own soul, and his consciousness can get out of the way to let the higher evolved part of his soul speak. But in Jane Roberts' scenario, that was not so. She was like a portal gateway. She left, had her own teaching explanations. That's where her books came from, while Seth was taking over and dictated his stuff. Her books are very interesting to read too. Just saying, because it explains in easy terms multidimensionality. So which part of channeling would you like to have more explained, James? Or more tips about?
No, that was all wonderful. That was very helpful. And the getting out of the way is where I really have to work. I get messages from lots of people and have been for years. It was a long time until I understood what it was. But recently, when I really start getting a message, I get in the way. And what I hear more than anything is, you can't hear if you're talking. Things that I'm paraphrasing, but that's the message I'll get a lot when they're just telling me you gotta quiet down and get out of the way. So I think I have people waiting for me to do the work and get out of the way, and they're ready to help.
One of the things I've mentioned in the coursework, what helped me in the beginning, is to utilize this discrepancy in a picture of an authority figure and a little child. So I wrote, or I was instructed by my guides to write, "My dear child," as if some higher entity would approach me. "My dear child, you're pondering about this and this and this problem in your life, this and this and this question, and where we're going in the universe, and da 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 da. So let your mind ponder." And while you're pondering on that thing, all of a sudden somebody else dives in. But the key phrase is, "my dear child." And in your case, you could use, "my dear James." Yeah. You have a hard time listening today, and you really need to get out of the way. And that might give you an inner chuckle. And then you might talk a little bit about that. And then all of a sudden, information will start to come through. And when that starts, that method I would recommend to do with writing with your own hand, because it slows you down versus when you have a Word document where you put the dictate button on and then, you know, it comes. But try both versions. But you can start it with "My dear James." Yeah, addressing yourself as a third party. Yeah, we come here too, and then it flows.
Got it.
And do you know who they are? Maybe you need to get more trusting by asking, who are you? Remember, meet your guides. Check who's sitting in your inner hall, in your attic.
Right.
Put them seats on, see who's there. And ask them, who's knocking on my door to channel? Is it you, or you? And then follow the protocol of how to meet your guides. Yeah. And check, is any of you here? First, see who's there, because you feel them. You said you feel them. So ask them to sit down, like to have a seat, to discuss, and see how many there are. And then ask in the round, who of you is the one who wants to channel? And then the person might virtually raise their hand, and then that was me.
Got it.
Who says, shut up and let me tell you something. Just the way. All right.
No.
Yeah, we are definitely over the hour, and but try that out.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
was nice to meet. Yep, there we are. Have a great day, and till next time I will upload it, and then you can re-listen.
Wonderful.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.